This section will cover the self-erection assembly process. For this process, we'll demonstrate assembling the machine by using the boom base section to install the track frames, build the boom, and using the counterweight installation system. But before starting, first confirm the following items. First, we will place the LMI into Setup mode by pushing the Setup icon on the LMI and hold it for 3 seconds. This is the icon with a picture showing the boom apart. Then we will raise the gantry from the transport position up to the working position. Move the gantry cylinder control switch inside the cab to the up position. Make sure to take up excess boom cable slack as needed to keep the cable tight on the drum. After the gantry is fully raised, install tension member locking pins. We will now install a single sheave block to the boom base. Lower the spreader guides. You will need to use the hoist cable from the front drum. Feed the cable through the top and bottom sheave on the boom base. Then run the cable through the load block and install the weight for the anti-tube lock system. Now run the cable up through the last sheave and install the wedge socket and clamps on the cable end. Pin the wedge socket to the mounting location. Install the limit switch and connect the anti-tube lock weight. Run the anti-tube lock cable from the cable reel to the tip and secure it to the boom mounting bracket. Connect the wires for the anti-tube lock system at the limit switch and complete the circuit by making the final connection at the reel. Now pull the limit switch by hand and make sure the ATB or hook over hoist trouble code on the LMI is discontinued. Now boom up to clear the block from the ground. We should now set the LMI to our present crane configuration. Set up the LMI by first pressing the menu icon while the main screen is displayed. On the menu screen, select the setting with the up-down arrow icon. The crane attachment screen appears. Then press the 1, 2, 3 icon. Next, select the self-removal mode icon. The operation selection screen is displayed. Select the car body weight removal mode. The number parts of line screen will appear. Next, touch the 0 icon. Using the keypad, enter the 2 parts of line and press the OK icon. The screen appears showing the selected items. If these are verified, press the OK icon. After all the settings and input are complete, the main screen will appear. The settings are displayed on the left part of the screen. It's important that you check all your settings before continuing. The base section is now ready to be used to assemble the crane. We'll now install the track frame assemblies onto the base machine. Use 4 leg slings and attach to the lifting eyes on the track frames. Make sure to install the softeners to protect the track pads and slings. Apply grease to mounting locations and pinhole locations. The boom base is able to lift the track frame within a 14-foot 9-inch radius from center rotation of machine to center of the track frame. Tracks are directional, so it's important that you check decals for front, rear, left, and right side. A 360-degree swing is allowed with the first crawler frame within the 14-foot 9-inch radius. Position the crawler close to the frame. Remove the hydraulic hoses from the front and rear car body frame compartments. Then connect the hoses to the quick disconnects on the track frames. Turn off the engine and connect the control box to the receptacle on the rear center of the crane car body. The control box is used for extending the main hydraulic track pins. This is the same control box used to control the translifter cylinders. Place the selector switch inside the cab to the translifter position. Start the engine and raise engine speed with the hand throttle to about 1000 RPM. Check that both of the track mounting pins are fully retracted. Lift track frame and align the mounting brackets and pin locations. The translifter cylinders can be used as needed to lift the machine for more ground clearance or to level the machine in relation to the track frame. Turn off the engine. Using the control box to restart the engine, fully insert the crawler connecting pins. Insert the retaining pin and lock with the spring pin. Repeat the same process for the second track. Please remember that a 360-degree swing is not allowed after the first track is installed. Do not swing the center point of the track frame past either of the translifters on the side the track frame is to be installed. Refer to the stability chart in the Operation and Maintenance Manual for additional instructions. The hydraulic hoses for track mounting pins are common to the tracks. It may be necessary to bleed hydraulic pressure from the hydraulic lines to remove hoses. To do this quickly, operate the control switch on the control box in the retract position to bleed pressure if needed. After the second track is installed, place the hoses back into the frame compartment. Lower the machine to the ground and raise the translifter cylinders. Remove floats and set aside for later storage on the car body weights. Fold the translifters into the transport position. Shut down the engine to remove the control box and power cord. Connect the hydraulic lines for the travel motors from the crawler frame to the car body locations. All these lines are fitted with quick disconnect type connectors for fast and easy installation. Install the steps on the track frames and catwalk handrails. The handrails are numbered for placement. We're now ready to build the boom. At this point, use the boom base section to position and assemble all the boom inserts that the job requires. For this demo, we will add a 20-foot boom insert, main hook, load ball, and an auxiliary sheave. First, we will lay out the 20-foot insert onto 4x4 blocks. Make sure to install one boom roller per boom insert. Use the boom base section to position the boom tip onto the last boom insert. Install the 4 boom connecting pins. Install the auxiliary sheave to the boom tip. Install the proper boom and guy cables as needed for each particular boom combination. You'll need to refer to the boom guy line arrangement chart, which is in the operator's cab or the Operation and Maintenance Manual. The guy lines have the ID stamped on the end at the pin location. We're now ready to assemble the counterweight tray. Set the counterweight tray on plywood-type material on firm, level ground. We will install the lifting links. These will remain on the counterweight tray. In this position, this is the transport position. Raise the lifting links into the working position and install the locking pins. Use suitable nylon straps to stack each of the 9,920-pound weights. Place each counterweight in their position and pin each of the counterweight sections together. This assembly will consist of 5 weights on each side of the counterweight base. We're now ready to install the car body weights onto the machine. For easier installation, it's important that you place the crane on a firm and level ground. Car body weights are 2 weights installed on the front and rear of the main frame, and each weighs 11,900 pounds. Lift the car body weights and install them by hooking them with the car body mounting bracket locations. Secure the weights with the locking pins. Place floats on storage location on the car body weights. We can now remove the load block from the boom base section. Lower the boom base and then set the LMI back into the setup mode. Disconnect the wedge socket and spool up the wire rope to the drum and secure in place. Remove the anti-2 block limit switch and wait. Roll the anti-2 block cable back onto the reel. We're now ready to install the counterweight assembly onto the rear of the machine. Position the rear of the machine over the counterweight assembly. Turn the ignition switch to the off position and connect the counterweight control box to the receptacle located on the right-hand side of the machine. Using the counterweight control box, turn the engine on. Use the toggle switch to raise the RPM. On the rear of the machine, unpin the bottom of each of the connector links, allowing them to slide down into position. Connect each of the connector links to the lifting links on the counterweight tray. Pull the retaining pins, and using the extension bar tool, turn the mounting pins to the open position. Activate both left and right-hand control switches to the up position and make adjustments as needed to keep the counterweight assembly level as it's being lifted. Stand clear of the counterweight assembly during this lifting procedure. After the counterweight assembly is completely raised, use the extension bar tool to insert the mounting pins and replace the retaining pins. Place the extension bar tool into the mounting location on the counterweight tray. Use the control box to retract the lifting cylinders completely. Using the counterweight control box, turn off the engine. Now, disconnect the counterweight lifting control box from the receptacle. We're now ready to install the additional boom section. You will need to clean the boom pins and bushings of any dirt or grime. Apply a coat of clean grease to the pins and bushings. Track machine to align the boom base with the first boom insert. Install the top boom insert connecting pins. With the boom flat on the ground, we'll now connect the guy cables. We are now ready to raise the boom base and make the final connection. Slowly raise the boom to align the bottom holes. Install the double taper type boom connecting pins in the bottom holes. The double taper pins are used here for a safer disassembly of the boom. Now raise the spreader guides on the boom base section. Lower the upper spreader assembly to remove the tension from the mounting pins. Remove the spreader mounting pins, then raise the spreader assembly to clear the mounting bracket. Install the pins back into the spreader pin locations for storage and lower the spreader guides back down into the storage position. We will now connect the hoist cables out to the tip section. Use the front drum for the load block and the rear drum for the ball. For this demo, we will use 4 parts of line for the main block. For the load ball, use the rear drum, which will use 1 part of line on the auxiliary sheave. First, install the anti-2 block weights. The donut-style weight is for the ball, and the other weight is for the block. When mounting the wedge socket, follow the instructions on the decal located on the boom tip to ensure it is installed in the proper direction. Install the anti-2 block limit switch to the boom tip and on the auxiliary sheave. Run the anti-2 block cable from the cable reel to the tip and secure it to the boom mounting bracket. Connect the wires for the anti-2 block system at the limit switches and complete the circuit by making the final connection at the reel. Secure loose cable using brackets. Before operating, confirm that all guy cable cotter pins are properly bent and all boom pins are installed and keeper pins are in place. And make sure the boom is free of any pins, tools, or loose articles. Set up the LMI by first pressing the menu icon while the menu screen is displayed. On the menu screen, select the setting with the up-down arrow icon. The crane attachment screen appears. The set of icons will need to be configured in this order. Select the crane icon. Select the STD weight, 60 boom, aux sheave. Next, select the main hook number 1 and press Use. Then select the auxiliary hook number 2. Press Use. The selection is the number parts of line screen. Next, for the number 1 hook, touch the 0 icon. Using the keypad, enter the 4 parts of line. Next, for the number 2 hook, touch the 0 icon. Using the keypad, enter the 1 part of line and press the OK icon. The screen appears showing the selected items. If these are verified, press the OK icon. After all the settings and input are complete, the screen returns to the crane configuration screen. The settings are displayed on the left part of the screen. It's important that you check all your settings before continuing. Now pull the limit switches for the ATB system on the main hook and on the load ball and confirm that the fault codes on the LMI are eliminated. The out of angle should be the only code remaining. We're now ready to boom the machine up into the working position. After the machine has reached the working radius, all fault codes on the LMI should be eliminated. Double check to make sure that the anti-2 block is working on the main hook and also on the load ball. Also check that the high boom angle kickouts are working properly. In this configuration, the high boom angle should kick out at 82 degrees. Now the machine is ready for operation.